Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
Believe you can, and you're halfway there. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. The best way to predict the future is to create it. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. Change your thoughts and you change your world. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. Ignorance more frequently begets confidence than does knowledge. I love fools' experiments. I am always making them. We can allow satellites, planets, suns, universe, nay whole systems of universes, to be governed by laws. But the smallest insect, we wish to be created at once by special act. The mystery of the beginning of all things is insoluble by us. And I for one must be content to remain an agnostic. In the long history of humankind and animal kind, to those who learn to collaborate and improvise most effectively have prevailed. A moral being is one who is capable of reflecting on his past actions and their motives, of approving of some and disapproving of others. I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have designedly created parasitic wasps with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars. If the misery of the poor be caused not by the laws of nature, but by our institutions, great is our sin. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. What a book a devil's chaplain might write on the clumsy, wasteful, blundering, low, and horribly cruel works of nature. Man tends to increase at a greater rate than his means of subsistence. A scientific man ought to have no wishes, no affections, a mere heart of stone. The love for all living creatures is the most noble attribute of man. False facts are highly injurious to the progress of science, for they often endure long. But false views, if supported by some evidence, do little harm, as everyone takes a salutary pleasure in proving their falseness. I have tried lately to read Shakespeare and found it so intolerably dull that it nauseated me. I am not apt to follow blindly the lead of other men. Man selects only for his own good, nature only for that of the being which she tends. The very essence of instinct is that it's followed independently of reason. How paramount the future is to the present when one is surrounded by children. The highest possible stage in moral culture is when we recognize that we ought to control our thoughts. To kill an error is as good a service as, and sometimes even better than, the establishing of a new truth or fact. Great is the power of steady misrepresentation. Man can act only on external and visible characters. Nature cares nothing for appearances, except in so far as they may be useful to any being. I am turned into a sort of machine for observing facts and grinding out conclusions.